Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Red Dragon Sports. I'm your host, Geoff Hassard, Assistant Director of Athletics and Sports Information Director here at SUNY Oneonta. And tonight we're going to feature tennis on our program. So please join me after the break and I'll be joined by head tennis coach Lonnie Mitchell.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in studio is head tennis coach Lonnie Mitchell. Welcome to the show, Lonnie.
Well, it's great to be back again.
How are things going this year?
You know, I have to say, this year it's going very, very well. Both really with the women, we're just having a really great season. Right now, our record is 6-3. But with this past weekend, we had 3 girls go up to the ITA championships, and that hasn't happened in this school since 2004, so almost 10 years. Yeah. And we went to battle with SUNY Farmingdale, down 3 of our top players, went toe-to-toe with them, and even though we were defeated, it was a real feel-good for our team because we played them real close without several of our players.
Right.
And then the girls came back from the ITAs, the ones that were there, and they also had a very good weekend. They lost in the first rounds of the main draw, but they went deep. Right. Several of them went deep into the main draw, into the main draw of the consolation, and so they got to play some great competition. It was really a great gauge as to the players that we have here, right, playing against some really good competition from across the Northeast, that we can compete pretty much with anybody.
Right.
So going into the SUNYACs, which is coming up in about a week and a half, we always have our work cut out for you. We'll have to either play Genesee or New Paltz, or both, hopefully.
Right.
And we'll just lay it out on the line. We've been practicing really hard, doing a lot of drills, getting up early in the morning, and there's just no substitute for practice.
Right.
If we do all those things right, and we line the sun, the moon, and the stars together, and with a little luck.
Right. It does. Luck does play into it a little bit.
Luck plays into it, but you have to put luck in your corner.
Right.
Luck does not go in your corner if you don't work hard.
Right.
Your
philosophy, you have a simple philosophy, right? Why don't you just talk a little bit about that and how that plays into how you go about, bringing our team along?
Well, I call it the Core 4 philosophy. It's just basically an easy way for the players to remember, and they have to work on their footwork all the time, which we do.
Yeah.
I'm always talking about footwork. We were up this morning working agility, working consistency. Listen, you have to make the other person have to hit a ball. Right. So treat each ball as if it's its own little individual match, like the world depends on it, and that creates a level of intensity that hopefully you can take on to the next shot. And then poised. This is really just a long way of just saying, once the point is over, win or lose it, stay in the moment.
Right.
And that's as simple as that. And it's as simple as that.
Right.
And then, of course, focus, just staying in the moment.
Right.
Just staying in the moment.
Now, with our team this year, we've already had one senior on. We're going to have another senior on, 2 of our top players. What is it like for them? We have 4 seniors on our women's team?
Actually, we have 5.
5. And how has that worked for us, and for them being leaders for the younger players that have come into our program?
Well, one of our captains, Lauren, you'll meet her later on in the program. She's a captain, and she's been a captain since my arrival here at the school, and they just look up to her as a leader. She's a successful player here, so her actions will always speak louder. I always like to say, if you do it the way Lauren does on the court and compete hard, good things happen.
Right.
So our other captain is a junior, so they're working together. But we have, in addition to Lauren, there's 4 other players who are, all of them are currently starting as seniors.
Right.
So they're impact players, it'll be tough to replace when we go forward, when I'm losing 5 players in my lineup.
Right.
So recruiting will come into a big play, of course.
Right.
But I might have to take a step or two backwards to go 3 steps forward. My goal is to win a conference title in the immediate future.
Right.
And if I have to take 2 steps backwards in the oncoming seasons, I will. But I'm going to get the right players, and we're going to grow this program, and we're going to win. I said it here. I'm going to win a conference championship some point in the near future.
All right. And players like Lauren and Bryn Sussman, who's our other captain, is a junior. The experience that they gained by playing at the ITAs, like you said, I mean, 2004 was the last time we actually had any players that competed at what we would call that level. I mean, it's the best players really in the Northeast. A lot from New York. Schools that we play along the way in dual matches. I mean, those kinds of experiences for your players. What do you think that'll do for the program?
Well, really, it is a master plan. It's not as if I just make these things up and pull it out from the sky. Going into the SUNYACs and just having the players play against one another just on a daily basis. Sometimes I'll pull the guys off the practice courts and get them to hit it with the girls a little bit. But they're really essentially playing with the same players every day in practice. It's too predictable. So the course of a weekend, for having to play against good competition, is really not just benefiting the program in terms of, okay, we have 3 players who went to the ITAs, but we have 3 players who are getting great practice, who are honing their skills, preparing for the SUNYACs, while at the same time I have 3 players who are off the main lineup, giving other opportunities to players to play and have them play up in a lineup against some good competition, which they normally don't get to play. Right. So it's really part of the master plan, if you will, to get every player as much competition as possible. They'll kick and scream a little bit along the way, but it's really healthy. But the ITAs, I think it really proves to really our program and even our athletic administration here that we have players who can play at that level. Of course, it's nice to win it, but I don't think you go into the ITAs thinking that you can have one player win it.
Right.
You go in hoping to compete, and we did just exactly that. Right. So it was really, for the girls, just a great experience, and you'll meet Lauren, and she'll tell you a little bit more about it afterwards, I'm sure.
Right. So overall, this season, we're like you said, the women are, actually both programs are have winning records currently during the fall season, but as we know, it's a year-long trek. Certainly, if the women win the SUNYAC, their spring schedule will get them ready for the NCAA tournament with the AQ. Right. And the men, we're just trying to play teams. We're not in a conference, which makes it a little bit tougher to get to the NCAAs, but certainly we've had those same kind of experiences. Our men competed at the ITAs, and talk a little bit about how the men, building that program where you don't get an AQ, you're not playing in a conference tournament to try and get to that level. Well,
the SUNY Oneonta Men's program has had a lot of good players here. When I arrived here a couple of years ago, the men were ranked in the top 20 in the Northeast. So the tradition and the word of mouth certainly helps the program. It helps helps me to get some good players. And I think that tradition just keeps handing itself down in the sense that when the players come, they meet the players, they see that they're serious about the tennis. I would really like to be in a conference because to get to the NCAAs, you have to be ranked in the top 15. That's a pretty tall order. But at the end of the day, if you want to play good, serious D3 tennis and you want to play for a state program, we're the only show in town, basically.
Right.
And within the SUNY Farmingdale has a fairly good team. We compete with them once a year, but they're not in our conference.
Right.
But there's just no other SUNY team that has any kind of skill level that's compared to us. So that is a huge recruiting tool for us. The price to go to school here is very, very good. You'll play great tennis. Yeah. You'll play great teams from around the region. And get that experience. At the end of the day, tennis players want to play tennis, and they want to play good tennis. Although having a conference, which I would like to have, is important, it's not the most important. It's important to a point, but getting the players to play, they want to compete.
Right.
So we'll compete against some very good teams,
Yep.
and that'll help grow the program. But I still want to get into a conference.
Right. So now let's shift gears a little bit. This summer you had quite an experience. You represented the United States at the Mecca Games as a coach of the Grand Masters team.
Right.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Sure. Talk about the sun, the moon, and the stars aligning. I guess if you just put good karma out there, good things happen. I'm at my desk one day, and a former mentor or colleague of mine calls me or emails me out of the blue and asks me if I'd like to be the coach on the Team USA. So from 1 minute to the next, it all happened very fast. You can't say no. I didn't have to go through an interview process, so I guess I left a good reputation out there. But the long and short of it is the Grand Masters are really a division for the older guys who are formerly college-ranked players, top-ranked players. It's a division that they get to, again, compete on a very high level against players from around the world. But more importantly, I met coaches, world-class coaches from around the world. And it really validated a lot of the things that I'm doing here with our team. Doing the right drills, doing the right things, saying the right things to the players. It's done the world over. So I learned a little bit from them. I think people learned enough from me. And I met some other great coaches from other sports. For example, the hockey, former National Hockey League coach Mike Keenan was coaching Team Canada. He was a former Stanley Cup champion. Amari Stoudemire for the New York Knicks was an assistant coach for the Team Canada. And then I think Eric Nystrom from the Dallas Stars, he was coaching Team USA. So I found myself in a room with a lot of different players and coaches who had some really incredible coaching and playing background. But here I am from Division III SUNY Oneonta, and it really put the school, put our program a little bit more on the map. After all, the Maccabi Games is the third largest international games behind the Olympics and the Pan American Games. So putting on a Team USA jacket and marching in the opening ceremonies and just meeting all these incredible athletes and people from the world over was just amazing. And then we also had another athlete that was here.
Right, who won a couple gold medals.
Won a couple gold medals, who was a national champion at SUNY Oneonta, and he was right there right near one another at the opening ceremonies. So we had a couple of Oneontians.
Yes.
Representing us was awesome.
Proudly, and we certainly, for you, we certainly want to congratulate you for that. I mean, certainly not everybody gets an opportunity to do that on any level. I mean, to be asked to represent your country, it's such a world event.
It was, and selfishly, I think it just really validated, that I really think that I'm doing the right things as a coach, that it has the reputation of this is the right guy to go to the other part of the world and represent the college, the school, and so forth. And then again, of course, to bring some of that knowledge that I learned from other coaches back here.
Yep.
It really helped to validate some of the things that we're doing.
Okay. Well, we certainly want to wish you well as you go forward, as you finish out the fall season and get into the spring season. We certainly hope that everybody stays healthy and who knows what will happen in the spring, right? We could be there playing in the NCAA tournament, maybe in a couple, right?
We'll try. We'll be talking about that hopefully, and if not, we'll do it next year.
That's
We'll do it.
All right.
Yes.
Well, we certainly want to thank you for coming by tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
Okay.
I'd like to thank Coach Lonnie Mitchell for coming by tonight. And after the break, I'll be joined by senior men's tennis player Mike Kennelly.
What makes D3 special is the ability to participate in my team and within the broader community.
The perfect ending to a perfect season.
Being a D3 student athlete has completely expanded my life.
I learned how to lead. I really found a voice.
What time is it? It's game time!
It's more about the experience rather than just a sport itself.
Without the experience of being a Division III student athlete, I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
NCAA Division III. Discover, develop, dedicate.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in studio is senior men's tennis player Mike Kennelly. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Glad to be back.
Actually, welcome back. We had you on last year.
So
it's good to have you back on the show. Maybe give us a recap of how the last year's been going for you.
Last year we had some good results, but this year I think we're going to improve on that. And we got a real good group of guys this year, so Hopefully, future of the team looks bright, and we can get to the next level this year.
Right. Hard to imagine that you're a senior now. It just seems like you just started like yesterday. How's your 4-year odyssey been with the men's tennis program?
It's been a journey. I feel like a completely different person from when I came here, just more mature on and off the court, and just appreciating stuff. Now my final season, every match is meaning more to me just because it's not many left.
Yeah. Now, as you look back over your 4 years, like you said, every match really means more now because after you're done, you won't play that guy again, maybe, or it's in the past. How do you reflect on that so that you can move forward? Because certainly tennis is we play in the fall and we do play in the spring, so you're really kind of at mid-season almost.
Right. One more match in the fall, and then just try and stay in shape in the off season, increase my running and lifting, and then in the spring, just try and give it my all,
Right.
one last time.
Right. What kinds of things are we involved in during the off season for staying in shape?
I hit the track a lot. I like to do sprints and long distance, a combination of both, and just also increasing my weight, try and bulk up a little bit, and then slow it down when I'm back in season.
Right.
So.
So really, whether you're, like muscular, you don't want to be too muscular, right, for tennis? You got to kind of be able to be quick as well.
Right. Well, I think now that I'm a senior, I know a little more what to do in the gym. I've had some help from the trainers and everything, so better idea, and just trying to help some of the freshmen learn the ropes of the weight room and help them mature as players.
Right. Now, I was going to say, as new players come into the program now, certainly, you've been with us for 3 years. What, how do you use your knowledge and the maturity, like you said, that you've gained, and trying to maybe pass that on?
I just try and lead by example, and you can't really coach desire, but if you want to get better and work with me, use what I have, I think you can grow as a player. I'm not the best guy in the country, but I'm the best player here. Right. And I don't know, I'm just really thankful to have older people guide me, and that's what I'm trying to do to the younger people now.
Right. It's important to, as you say, you're our number one guy. You're our number one singles player, which is the guy that everybody wants to really be. So have you taken that as a challenge to during your career here to say, I'm number one guy, but I can pass that on, and maybe some of these other guys that are down now might be a number one player.
Right. Just hopefully they try and keep challenging me and keep trying to get better, especially the freshmen, and just believe in yourself.
Right. Individual sports. Tennis is really a game. You have to compete a lot of times, within yourself to motivate yourself, because it's just you versus that guy on the other side of the net that you're trying to beat. So what kinds of things do you do to try and keep that focus?
Just stay calm. I think it was Djokovic who said that a calm mind is a winning mind. So, stay calm, and also just feed off the energy from courts around you. Yeah, it's an individual sport, but if you see that one of your teammates is winning, you're like, wow, I got to step up. I got to win too. I can't be the guy who loses. You don't want it to come down to a 5-4 decision, and you're the reason why.
Right. So I would say, even in like track and swimming and diving and stuff like that, like you said, you don't want to be the player that maybe didn't give its best effort that day, and maybe the team doesn't score as many points or wins a match.
Right.
So how important is that to pass on to some of those younger players?
You just got to teach them the fight and teach them the desire to win. And, they'll keep learning how to play matches. I think a lot of them right now, they got the strokes. They just got to get a little more match tough, learn the ropes about college tennis.
Right.
It's not like high school where you can just fool around in some matches. You have to be there in every match.
Right.
It's probably one of the most important.
Now, this past summer, talking maybe major tennis here, this past summer, right, you did a studied abroad over in England. Right?
Right. Well, actually, I was in Ireland, but I got to see Ireland, England. So I got to see Wimbledon. I saw the first round. It's one of the cooler experiences I've done. And it's just cool that you can fit in study abroad. It's part of the D3 experience that maybe you can't get at some other schools. You really have time for things like that.
Right, maybe things that people don't understand about, I mean, obviously time management, you have a lot of commitment to your sport, academics, but maybe they don't understand that you can also take a semester, or you did yours, how many weeks?
It was like a 5-week program,
Yeah.
but I stayed there longer just to see some other places.
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
Did you end up meeting family? No, not.
I actually did meet some family, very distant, but it's still cool that you have some blood relation, and they, even if it's just a little minor, they still treat you.
Right, over there. I mean, it's one big happy family.
Yeah, they treat you so well, and it's like I couldn't even tell you how exactly we're related, but
Right.
they're just so nice to me. I was very thankful for that experience. And
so overall, in your 4 years, anything else maybe to point to that you can maybe talk about just quickly as we get off here to, about your Oneonta experience as a student athlete?
I just love it here. The atmosphere is great. Everyone's so nice, and it's just a good culture here. You can wear an Oneonta t-shirt in New York City, and you see someone as, hey, I went there. Hey, I visited one of my friends. I had a great time. I've never had anyone say anything bad about Oneonta, so that's one of the cool things about attending here and hopefully being a future alumni and donor.
Yeah, no, it's certainly, that's what, the 4-year process is to get you to, finding a job and being an alum who wants to, give back to the program in some way. And certainly you've been a good representative for us, and we certainly thank you for choosing Oneonta, and we wish you the best of luck as you go, finish up the fall and then go through the spring, and hopefully you attain, the successes that you want.
Thank you.
All right, well, thanks for coming by. All right, I'd like to thank men's tennis player Mike Kennelly for coming by tonight. And after the break, I'll be joined by senior women's tennis player Lauren Skolnick.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in studio is senior women's tennis player Lauren Skolnick. Welcome back to the show, Lauren.
How are you?
We had you on a couple of years ago as a sophomore.
Yes.
How have things changed in 2 years?
Oh man, so it's crazy. I cannot believe I even did it the sophomore year. That was my first year as captain. Now I'm a senior, 3rd year now at it. A lot's changed. I don't know. I just grown a lot. I'm actually into my major, graduating in May.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
How have you matured as a captain? From 2 years ago to now. I mean, how have things changed?
I feel like even just general knowledge of the college and just the competition, because when I was first here, I didn't. My freshman year playing SUNYACs, it was an individual flight.
Yeah.
So people would ask me about SUNYACs, and when you asked me in the fall about it, I thought it was that way too. So when I went that sophomore year, it was the team flight, of
team tournament.
Yeah, exactly. So now I feel like when people ask me about it, I have more knowledge, and even just general knowledge, about the college. The freshmen ask me questions, I feel like I know.
Now, do you prefer the team tournament as opposed to the flighted tournament?
I don't know. I like both. I do, but I did like I wish I didn't really start my freshman year. I only played third doubles,
Right.
So I wish now I could I wish as a freshman I was where I was today. Could have played then, because I think I could have did really well. But I do like the team too. It does bring everyone together, and it is good competition. But
Right.
I guess overall I do like the individual better.
Yeah, with the it was just a different element. I mean, you had an opportunity at, like you say, if you played second singles or something, you had a chance to be the second singles champion.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, with the team championship, you get to go to the NCAAs with the AQ.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How are we? We're kind of, I guess you'd say, nearing the end of our fall schedule. We've got the SUNYAC tournament that'll be exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
We're
my last one.
Number 2 seed in the East.
Yep.
We secured that spot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what kinds of things, as a senior leader for our team, I mean, how do you help the team get ready for the big matches?
I feel like honestly after this ITA tournament, my view has been focused now. Like I played some really good tennis this past weekend. We played really good teams, so I feel like now I'm really booked up and geared, ready to like push the girls. Like even we had morning practice this morning. We were all pushing each other, yelling. Like we only have 2 weeks left, just the final push to get ourselves to where we want to be and be successful.
Right now, so you're saying that ITA experience really probably just kind of maybe to get you through those last few weeks, because now you can bring that back. Bryn played, and she's another captain. Yeah. And Emily, senior. Mm-hmm. So now, 3. That's our first, second, and third singles players right there.
Exactly.
That's half our lineup. Yeah. So what kind of an impact now do you think that'll have on the younger players and some of the other?
I hope it inspires them, honestly, to see like how these upperclassmen go to this tournament. I hope it makes them want to train harder and be able to go for themselves. Like, since 5 of us are graduating, they're all going to have to step up. Right. So I'm thinking we're getting recruits, so we'll have some spots filled, but I'm hoping that all the girls are going to step up now from this point and do what they have to do. So
we're looking forward to making the ITAs back as part of our regular schedule.
I know. I'm sad I haven't done it the past 3 years. It was a great experience. I played some the best tennis I've played in college probably.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah. Well, I only played doubles, but it was still really fun. I still loved it.
Yeah, you made it to the quarterfinals.
Yep.
And certainly, just that experience, because we know that once you get there, no matter whether you're in the championship draw or the consolation, it's
either way, it's
because you started all the same. So all of these teams, there were 32 doubles teams, right? Yeah. So to be one of the last 8.
Yeah, we played the 6th seed or 8th seed, I think, and it was so close. We were there. The final score was 8-9, and then we lost in the tiebreaker 5-7. So it was literally 2 points that made us lose. Right. But it was just such fun tennis. I was just smiling, laughing. It's just a great experience. It gave me and Brandon more better chemistry for SUNY X too, hopefully.
Right. Now, how the two of you working together as captains, how do you make that all work?
It's good. Bryn does her jobs, I do mine. She does more directing, I feel, and I think I'm more of a supporter. I try to push the girls, cheer them on, support, and Bryn does a lot of the planning. She's great at it though. She does we're doing community service with a home, and she planned all that. We're doing a dinner, a doubles tournament. We're gonna have a bunch of the alumni come back and family and friends to play. So I hope everyone can come out and play. And she planned that mostly, but I did help her a tiny bit. But yeah, I feel like we work well. It's been good.
Kind of complement each other.
Yeah.
Like you said, she kind of the planner, you're the supporter. So it's worked out pretty well with some of the younger players.
I think
do
so.
They? What kind of advice or questions do they ask you as being a senior?
Just my experience, even I feel in general, and then also just stuff with academics. There's a girl on our team who's in the same major as me, and she asks me questions about what professors to take with and not to use, or just general education questions. I feel like that's important. So I always tell them that's the most important thing. That's why you're here. You are here for tennis, but education comes first, obviously. So. And
on that, you had the opportunity. You studied abroad last spring, this past spring.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us where you went and how that experience was?
I studied abroad in Ireland, and I was in the city of Dublin, which is the capital. I was there. I left mid-January, and I came back mid-May. It was the best experience of my life. I want every single person who has the opportunity to do it, even if it's not Ireland, just anywhere in the world. It was such a cool perspective to see another part of the world, because within Ireland I traveled all over Europe, so because of we had breaks and then I had weekends off, so I traveled a bunch of different countries, met so many cool people. I'm actually going to visit a friend I met over there in Texas over the October break, so I made some really cool friendships, which I love.
Now, where in Europe did you get a chance to travel?
I went to Belgium, I went to the Netherlands, where else did I go? Spain, Italy, London, all over throughout Ireland, Paris.
Wow, you're like a world traveler now.
I know, right? I definitely see the world differently, I feel like.
You do?
Yeah, I love it.
Smaller or bigger?
Definitely bigger than you think. You think tennis, I always get so wrapped up in the tennis and the college, but you realize there's so much more out there that people are dealing with, and then I don't know. It's just cool. I loved it.
Yeah. Now, so that'll be an experience you'll be able to take with you as in May when you graduate and kind of go on to some other things.
Yeah, exactly. It's good to put on my resume too.
Right.
So.
To be able to say you studied abroad.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly want to thank you for coming by tonight.
Thanks.
We know you have a lot more tennis to play, and,
Yep.
and we certainly look forward to watching you and the other players as we go towards our SUNYACs and beyond, right?
I hope so, yeah.
All right,
I want to do this.
All right, well, good luck the
Thank
rest
you.
of the way, and thanks for coming by.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, I'd like to thank all the members of the tennis program to come by tonight, and certainly you can follow them all year long because, again, we do have a spring season here at Oneonta, www.oneontaathletics.com. We'd like to thank you for coming by tonight, and we'll see you next time on Inside Red Dragon Sports.